This a gang, is you in or you out? I put diamonds all over my mouth.
Oh, I just butchered that, man. I just butchered that. We don't put diamonds in our mouth. If you want to put any, you know, jewelry in your mouth, you get 24 karat gold. It doubles as an investment. You can check the price of gold, goldprice.org. We've discussed this. I don't have a diamond grill. I have a gold grill. That's a fact. And if you judge me, you know, I think my fashion grill, my designer rapper grill, outperformed the S&P last year. So let's talk about that for a second. But guess what, guys? Saturday. Oh my God, it's Sunday. I said that yesterday. I don't know why I did that. Yesterday's video, I said it was, either way, you guys get the idea, right? But we could talk conspiracies, right? Or we could talk fun stuff on the weekend. But I thought this one's gonna be good. I wanna talk about a recent event with PG&E and talk, I guess, a conspiracy. This is my level of conspiracy of, I guess, comparing this PG&E event to some of the stuff that's happening in 2000, you know, really since 2016 till now, and even recently, and you know, the wildfires. It's an economic conspiracy is what I'm saying, but I'm comparing it to The Big Short and 2008. So yeah, I don't know let me know what you guys think at the end of this. Is this conspiracy? Is this fact? Is this, you know, I guess the best way I always weigh these things is possible versus probable, right? A lot of times it could be, okay, well, that's possible, but is it really probable, you know? So that's kind of how I feel in this situation, where I think it's definitely a possibility, but yeah, but let's talk about it. So if you guys don't know, PG&E, that is the electric company in California, and pretty much they are almost, and I think they're found liable. I don't know the intricacies of this, and again too, that's where you guys come in. You guys are we are the cult. This is a gang, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to help each other out here. So you guys are my news sources as well too, a news station. So we could put some of the facts below in the comments, but pretty much they have exposure to the whole issue with the fires because of some of their faulty lines, stuff like that, and it's pretty much mounting to like a couple $2 billion. Like it's a ridiculous amount, and now they're borderline going bankrupt. And the other day, Moody's they downgraded their credit, and that led to, you know, their credit rating automatic default on like $800 million of their debt. They only have like $400 million in cash, and pretty much the idea is that week after week, if claims go on, or if they're able to put more liability on them, and the more they're able to prove that it was PG&E's fault, is it PG&E or well, we'll get into that, but as long as they can prove that's their fault, then what's gonna happen? They're gonna, you know, the liability is gonna go up. So they're trying to get into bankruptcy to stop, you know, mounting losses. And now this is what I'm saying. It gets conspiracy, it gets, you know, comparing this to China, if you say I had another conspiracy on that, but it's state-owned, where, again, this same company, and I think Cal Edison in 2000, California bailed them out already. So there was an issue during, you know, the 2000 blackouts in California, and Procter & Gamble was, not Procter & Gamble, excuse me, PCG already got bailed out. However, here's the key with that, you know, so people are saying, well, there has been precedent for the government, the California government, to tap into, you know, California's bank, the Treasury, and use that to bail out, you know, pretty much cover for the losses here, because this is a Frankenstein event, right? Literally, where the fire happens, it causes all this damage, and now this company is literally being held liable for that. You know, it's just a massive amount of money. Like, you really cannot forecast that or account for that in any way. So, you know, but in this case now, the government can step in. They've done it in the past, and that's what people are thinking here, and now that's what we're watching for. So this is what I'm talking about, is because this is happening now. Some people are expecting that any day now you're going to get a bankruptcy announcement, a full-on bankruptcy announcement from PCG&E, or we're even waiting. California's governor, or the current acting governor, he brought up stuff about you know, stepping in, and he's going to give an announcement. He said that's something of priority for him as of now, but it's definitely an issue. So they're going over all all of that stuff right now, and that's why I'm saying it's kind of important, because I want to see how this plays out, but I want to see what the impact is going to be. Now, this is what led me into now my next conspiracy with it, and I got to think if there's any last parts with the PCG. Oh yeah, the how to even play it, because I know a lot of you are asking. It might be good to play, and this is you got to wait for it. It all depends on the premium and the contract dates. I talked about this. It's even, I guess, this situation shows it as an example. You know, the fires. Again, think about the liability caused and how much money it costs for these fires. You know, after these California wildfires, you know, if there's a fire going on and you try to get home insurance, fire insurance, you know, on your property, then, you know, I don't know, you guys see over here? I should probably keep the camera here. But if you're gonna get fire insurance on your property while there's a fire or during the fire, then what they're gonna ask from you is a higher premium, or sometimes they won't even insure you and they'll make you wait 6 months, which is kind of crazy. Or they won't even let you get insured for another year. So it's kind of like options with, when there's a bad event, like a stock like PCG, it drops, it has this, you know, big event where literally you guys are like, oh my gosh, they're gonna go bankrupt, they could owe more money than they literally have, like, you know, there's a lot of things pointing towards bad, but now it's already dropped too. Go look at the chart, it's already dropped a lot, it's taken a hit. So options are insurance. So how are people going to charge for that? Just like the fires, they're really expensive. So what I'm saying is, playing it, if you guys are like, okay, well, if Monday they announce bankruptcy, of course the stock can go to zero. But like I'm saying, what happened in California, they got bailed out by California, but eventually got out of it, and they paid back $10 billion. You know, these are companies that everybody's going to be using utilities. They have the infrastructure. Again, it's just they just had to take a really big L. You know, I guess wrong place, wrong time, all that stuff. So that happened. They got hurt, and that's where it is now. So again, playing it, you got to watch out for the premiums, because with the event being bad now, insurance premiums are pretty much pricing in a very large fall. So we'll go over it on stream once I get to a chart and I can look at the options, but that's my initial take on it. Now, the conspiracy, it relates to the Big Short, and it's related now to banks and financial crises and you know, debt and even insurance companies. So pretty much during the Big Short, why was the mortgage crisis so bad in 08? If you guys look at the Big Short, it's, you know, there's insurance. Even now, it's like, that's one of the measures they have in place, but people think like PMI, like mortgage insurance, is not as if that's something new. It existed back then. You know, they would do mortgage insurance on these low secured or low, you know, high loan to value loans. So what they were doing is, the insurance companies, though, they had a financial model saying, hey, we could insure at this price, at this cost, and we could take on this much risk in these areas, because pretty much they weren't expecting more than 30 or 40% of the geographies to default at once. So pretty much they're saying we could insure 10 times what we owe, or what people own, because the odds are 1 in 10 million that it's gonna happen where everybody in the Southwest, you know, defaults at once, or Southwest and Pacific. You know, that's why diversification. It's literally diversification. They're saying the odds of you know, the whole basket being so all spread out, falling at once, is very low, but that's what happened. So that, you know, that triggered in 2008. You know, they didn't forecast it, just like the fires. You know, think PCG, you know, what are the odds that their only risk is their electricity lines during the wind starting a wildfire and causing $35 billion of damage. You know, you can't really forecast that. So it's pretty interesting, right? But this is my conspiracy now, is that go look at the fires, go look at the hurricanes, and it just seems there's been, oh shit, is that a cop in front of me? And I'm just like all up on his ass. I think it's because I'm trying to make this video, but you know, go look at all of those factors, you know, of stuff going on. These are natural disasters, and now there's insurance companies to pay for them. And what I'm saying is, like, the cost of the fires was so big, it's who's gonna cover that? Now, the infrastructure cost, that's one thing, because there's one thing with the hurricanes and everything else. My arm's hurting, so I'm switching the view over here. But I don't know why the lens looks so close. But essentially, yeah, this is bothering me a lot. so close, but I think we're almost done here. I gotta finish my conspiracy thoughts, so I'll just have to keep it back on here. Even though my arm hurts, and I got people behind me. So essentially, though, what I'm saying is that with this whole, you know, all these events, they cost money, they have an effect on the economy, they slow down business, it just gets in people's ways, you know. My theory is that, or what I guess my question is, what would happen now if we had some pretty much natural disaster insurance mixed in with some emerging market crisis or any sort of default? Could that have the potential to create some level of unexpected statistical default or systematic failure of insurance? If there was a natural disaster, what sort of effect would that have? Or even then, I guess that is something we could say right now in one area. I guess, wow, I'm even, you know, my mind just got blown even just thinking about this. I'm like, well, it doesn't have to necessarily be a hurricane or a fire, but let's say, what if it was like a giant earthquake or, you know, a big hurricane or a tsunami or anything like that? What would be the economic effect? That's one thing, but now here's another thing. Depending on the scope of the event, look at the effect it had on a company in the stock market. You know, PCG dropped a lot. You know, even though it's an electric company, even though they're publicly traded, you know, you see that is that pretty much winners and losers. If there was some sort of huge cataclysmic event, what companies would be at the biggest exposure? Who could lose from infrastructural damage? Or again, isn't that crazy? It's like, how can we even forecast a natural disaster, and who would take the loss if we can't even forecast it? But what I'm saying is, has anybody thought about that? Or what I'm alluding to is that, I guess that's my conspiracy theory. I guess that's why we're talking here on the weekend, because I'm saying, well, look at PCG&E, what would something else cause, and depending on how big it was. So I don't know. I could go on some, I have a bunch. Do we make Saturdays or Sunday mornings or Sunday nights for conspiracies? I don't know, but I have a lot of these. As you guys see, I try to make it, you know, I don't know, is this grounded in fact? Is this, again, that's like I said in the beginning, possible or probable? Let me know. What do you guys think it is? But I guess I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts. Drop me a like, drop me some love, a comment. I like them all. You guys are active. Get ready for Monday. We're gonna be streaming 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go, baby. New week, second week now. Oh, so I'll talk about it on stream, man. Get ready. Just get ready. We in this. Whoa.